Hi Flosstube, it's Megan again, our weekly Flosstube update. Yes, I'm a day late. It's been a little crazy, and next week I won't be able to update until Monday because we leave for Hawaii Wednesday. I wish it was tomorrow. We leave Wednesday, and we don't get back till Monday morning cracking on. So, there won't be an update on Sunday, won't be till Monday. So anyway, gonna just dive right in. Got 1.5 million things going on, even though it's 10:30 at night. I still have a ton of stuff going on. And so yeah, let's dive right in. From stuff that we did this week for Magical Stitches, really only one thing of haul, and then plans for this next week. A lot of stitching is coming with me to Hawaii, and yeah, a lot of fun stuff. Okay, so this last week in Magical Stitches, of course, we're still working on the Fairest of All book, villain series. So our first project that we had, our first prompt was to do a project that had beads in it. So I chose to do the 2019 limited edition Someone We Love by Glendon Place. And I got the kit when this came out. I think it was only sold in a kit. So I had the, let this be put away. I had the linen version of that. Okay, where did you go? Where did you go? Duh. Yeah. I have it has all the floss in there as well, so it's the floss and everything, and the fabric was folded up enough so it was hiding. So the fabric is pewter by Picture This Plus on Cashel 28. So this actually got negative progress because I realized I was off half a stitch on one of the crosses, and so I had to frog. But I still got my 100 stitches in, because the beauty of Magical Stitches is you can count frogged stitches. So that was just a whole lot of frogging and not a whole lot of actual stitching. Oh well. Next project was a project that has a food you would not eat. For this one, I chose Peppermint Pixie, because I won't eat peppermint. I don't like it. I don't know why. I remember liking it when I was a kid, but I don't like it now. I had to laugh at Coffee Stitcher's that he chose. He chose one that had people. I think it was his Wizard of Oz one, because he's not a cannibal and he wouldn't eat people. And he referenced the line from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory that Willy Wonka says, it's like, everything in this room is edible. Even I'm edible. But that is called cannibalism and is frowned upon in most societies. Love that movie. Love that movie. I'm doing this on a 28 even weave. It's called Shelley's Aura by Fabric Flair. So that's how far I got. It's kind of the middle part of her dress. This one I think is going to be quite a fun one. There's actually a lot of 1/1 stitching in this, like to make her wings more translucent. Yeah. Anyway, see-through. So that one's going to be a fun one. Next is to stitch on a project that has blue or red, and you had to stitch in that color. So I chose to do Brooks Books Snow White from her dress-up, Fairy Tale Princess dress-up collection. I do have all of these. And so I worked on part of her cape. And there's a lot of options for these. I mean, there's rose, red, Christmas red, bright red, garnet. And there's baby blue, blue. So there were a lot of options to choose from with colors. So I decided to focus on the cape. And she was a new start, and I'm doing her on a denim. This is from Fabric Flair. And that's where I got. So that was 100 stitches in on that one. It was a little more than 100 stitches, but I was having fun with it. Okay, next was to stitch on a project that has a flower. So I chose to do Morning Song by Country Cottage Needleworks, because there's flowers in there, and cute little singing bluebirds. This I'm doing on a medley from Fabric Flair, and you can get this from Citru Express. So it has four different types of fabric. So this is it's a wood barn medley. So I already have one done on it, and there we go. That's how far I got. I realized I didn't have the color I needed to start the pots, so I just brought the green down. Kept working on that. So that one's coming along, and I already have the two patterns planned out for the other two little barnyard pieces. Okay. Next was to stitch on a project that gives you nightmares, 200 stitches. So I chose this Wicked Hallows Eve by Designs by Lisa, because it's pretty creepy. And this, I want to say, is on something by Seraphim fabric. I got it quite a while ago. Anyway, and that's how far we got. Just working more on the witch's dress. But I love this fabric with it. I think it's going to be quite cool when it's done. So, got 200. No, that one was... That one I actually kept going quite a bit. You only had to get 200. I actually put over 300 stitches in it. So I was having fun with that. Then we had some bonus that we could get another 3 points. And so what we had to do is stitch on a project that had an item that started with either L, R, or M. So for L, I chose to do Spooky Tree by Rovaris because it has a ladder. This is a fun one. Fun one to stitch up. And I'm doing this on a pretty purple. I think this wasn't Under the Sea. I'm not sure. So I had the bottle done and everything, and so I moved up and started working on the cat. So, looking cute. And if you kind of look, you can kind of see I did partial stitches there. That's because you had to do exactly 111 stitches. And so each leg of the cross stitch counts as half a stitch. So to get exactly 111, I couldn't do, I had to do some half ones, or I would have had too many. And then for the R and the M, I chose to do Women's Room by Soda Stitch. I did M for the mask, R for the rose. One of my many, many, many Soda Stitch patterns. And I'm doing this on gray lace with greenish blue from Fabric Flair. This is a 28 even. So for the first 111, I added another color to her hair. So that went along farther. And then for the second, I added some more yellow up there on top. So that got 222 stitches. for those. So that was the homework for last week. And I actually got it done within like 3 days. I was just on a roll. So that was that. For this next week's, they're having a lot of fun. They're having fun with prompts. They're having fun with how many stitches you have to do in each one. They're having a blast. So for this week's activities, again, continuing with the book, it says, make sure I get the right ones. I have them all bundled up so I can easily find them. Okay, now, no, I printed you. There you go. Gotta find the right thing. So the winter solstice party is described as a luminescent dream floating against the sea of darkness. Stitch something that fits with this quote and explains how it fits. And you have to do 200 stitches on that. So I'm pulling out one of my Hades. I'm pulling out Cunning. Yes, I am Slytherin. Pure blood. Yes, yes. So I'm going with this because the locket that the snake is holding could be luminescent. You dream about riches. You dream about, things that sparkle. That's something it's luminescent, and it does look like it has a luminescent quality. It looks like it's glowing on its own. And it's on a sea of darkness. Snake. Creepy snake. Darkness. I'm going with it. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So for my Hades, I do them all on Pattern Keeper, because I have the bulk of them in digital format. So I just printed off the first page, so I could put it in my notebooks with all my whips, so I could easily see it. Oh, I still have this one on a hoop. I should take this one off the hoop, because I don't know how long it's been on the hoop. Hades are one of the few projects that I do in a hoop, because I usually stitch 2 over 1/10 on 25 count, and it's easier in a hoop. So this is how far I've gotten. Not super far. Got my little Slytherin. Put it right side up. There we go. Slytherin needle minder. So not too far, but with Pattern Keeper, whew, yeah, it's a really big piece of fabric. You can see I kind of started it here, but I didn't really like it for some reason. I don't remember why. Oh, I think I changed how I was stitching. I think I was doing a basket weave stitch, and I decided to just switch to a typical 10 stitch. So what I do is I start in the same bottom corner, whether I'm going this way or this way. So it kind of does basket weave on one and 10 stitch on the other. Works for me though. So that is that project. Next is the closest whip to a finish. Yeah, I kind of have whips all over the board with farthness of being done. But doneness, there we go, doneness. So I pulled out one that should be pretty quick because it really just has back stitches. It has a couple cross stitches, but it's mostly just a bunch of back stitching. So I'll hold it back here because I don't actually have a picture of it. So it's make your life story so amazing that unicorns will have trouble believing in you. So it was a kit I had gotten for my sister, and I liked it so much that when she was done with it, I just made a copy of it so I could work on it. And I switched everything out. I'm doing it all in Krynix and rayon colors or something. Anyway, that's how far I've gotten. Kind of a goofy little unicorn. I have done some work on this. I did some work on this this morning. So, got the little tail done. Started working around. So, it's coming along. That one shouldn't take too long. The thread's a little bit of a pain to work with because it's slippery. Next is as a face appeared in the mirror and to stitch 100 stitches on a face. So I pulled out one of my Lena Lawsons. And it is Marie Antoinette with the cupcake. Love this. It's a lot of face. It's a lot of face in this pattern. So I will easily get 100 stitches in on her face. Easily. And I'm doing her on a Blue Mist 32 Even by Fabric Flair. Let me make sure I get the right. Okay. I'm doing her this way. So I've got face started there. So I'll get more done on her face. Love this fabric. She's going to look awesome on this when she's done. Whenever that is. Sometime in the future. Okay. Next prompt is, the funeral for the king brought many people to his kingdom. Stitch on a project that has... Oh, wait. I can't read. That's prompt 5. Prompt 4, which is what we're on, is we find out the face in the mirror is the queen's father. Stitch on a project that has something in it that reminds you of your father. So I decided to pull out Jack Frost's Tree Farm by Little House Needleworks. And I am on part 2. So the Douglas fir. And I chose this because when I was growing up, before they really had fake Christmas trees and you had to buy real Christmas trees, my dad would always take us to the tree farms. And where I lived in Southern California, then it was a drive. You had to drive like at least 45 minutes to get to a tree farm. So it was a tradition that we would drive to the tree farm, pick out a tree for Christmas. So that's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this on I get scratched by my needle. On a gray tartan fabric by Fabric Flair. This is a 32 even. And that's how far I've gotten so far. So we got the first section done. So I will be working on the next bit of this one. Multi-parters always take me a while. Okay, so the last prompt is, the funeral for the king brought many people to his kingdom. Stitch on a project that has 3 or more people in it, must be humans. So I pulled out, this is a new start. It's a CCN, Country Cottage Needleworks, and it's the Country Cottage Kids, and it's the Princess Parade. I'll do this for my daughter's room. And I'm actually substituting the floss for Mo's Sale floss, because this is a really easy one to substitute floss for. And I'm doing this on a Under the Sea fabric, Island Flowers. This is a 32 linen. It's this very fun pink and green, and that is the colors. They're that bright, yeah. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. And this is how I'm going to orient the fabric. So the tree will be over here, and castle will be over here. So yeah. So that'll be a fun one. And the last is, the mirror tells the queen that she is the fairest in all the land. Post a photo of your piece that you consider the fairest of them all. So I have so many. I just kind of grabbed one as I was going through it. And so the one that I got, and I'll have to pull out the fabric. I haven't pulled it out yet because I don't actually have to stitch on it. I just have to post the picture. So I pulled out The Reader by Joan Elliott. Because she's pretty fair. She's reading a book. Fair maidens always read books. At least in my head. So I'll post that. So that's plans. So I'll work a bit on some of them while I'm here. And then I don't know which ones will make the cut for Hawaii. But when I was shopping the other day with my mom at Target, I came across this nifty little container from Sterilite. And it's a stack and carry, which I already love the stack and carries, but what I love So on this top one, there's a divider tray, and it comes out. So what I can do is I can put floss in here, and then I can put the fabric in here, and this will fit right in my carry-on. Love it. Nice and easy to work with. So, figure out which ones go. For haul, there was really only one thing I had. This was an enabling by Coffee Stitcher. He had, I think it was 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, he had gotten 2 of the Veronica and Ginger books, hardcover books. I already had the Christmas one, so I didn't have to get that, but I hadn't seen the Fables and Fairy Tales, so I managed to find it. I got mine off of eBay because it was more or less cheaper than getting it on Amazon, and there was only like one available on Amazon. Everything else was really expensive, so I'm almost wondering if it's out of print. I'm not sure. But it is, I love her stuff. Love it. But it has fables, it has fairy tales. Let's see if I can show. The problem is they have the pattern right on the other side. So we got this. How cute is that? Hansel and Gretel. Oh, they got the 3 little pigs, Little Red Riding Hood. This one's a fun one. Princesses. So Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, Elsa, who I think is technically the Snow Queen in this. Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. I mean, they have the Fox and the Crow, Fox and the Stork. I mean, it is just chocked full. And then in the back, it has instructions on how to make different things. Key rings, pouches, pins. So, yeah, I'm quite excited to get started on some of these. I don't know which one I'll start with. I want to do them all. So, yeah, nice thick book. Nice good hardcover. The Christmas one I already have, and so now I have both of them. And they're awesome. So excited. Anyway, the only other really thing I did this week with cross-stitch stuff was to do some organizing, and so I have my tote that's full of all my whips, and then I went through, basically got all my hand-dyed fabric out, and paired them with patterns. So I now have a second tote that is completely full of fabric that has been paired with patterns, and then I have 4 binders with those patterns over there. So yes, and I also separated out the kits and all this, so now I just kind of am wanting to start everything, but I'm not yet. Anyway, hope everybody has a good stitchy week, good crafty week. I've got the embroidery machine going like crazy. Got some fun ideas going on with that. You'll be seeing shortly. And, yeah, have fun. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.